Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the Sor Hands Q&A, amazing Sor Hands Q&A podcast. I almost said practice log. I almost forgot the name of my own show. Look at me. So, I am on the road right now. Driving straight for 51 miles. I'm going back home. For Christmas, because it's still like Christmas break time. So I figure what better place to film a podcast than while I'm driving on the highway. Man, I have a lot of stuff to get into too. This week, it's been a good week, like overall, because I've done like fun stuff, and I'm seeing friends and family now, and I've had a nice week where I spent a lot of time with my girlfriend. And I've still been practicing a lot, even though I haven't been filming as much. I only put out like 3 videos this week, for Christmas. That's not how things are going to go. But it's been a good week, but there's just been these little like inconveniences that keep happening. Like first, God, my fucking car got, because I need to say that to tell you like how upset I am at this. My fucking car got towed, and what a horrible experience that is. I've gone my entire life without ever having my car towed before. And I mean, just to give you some context, like I live in an apartment building that's like on a really busy street in a city. It's like the street. Like whenever there's an event going on, it's always on that street. I'm trying to avoid like saying anything in particular about this particular city. Because it's a small city, too. You can figure out where it is pretty easily, though, if you've just heard me talk. Like, every Saturday, every day, not specifically Saturday, it could be Sunday. I already said Saturday, it's fine. So every Saturday they have a parade, kind of, or like a farmer's market, and your car just gets towed. If it's parked out there, like in regular city parking, it just gets towed. And I got home late one night, or I say late, like I got home at like 3:30 a.m. And it's not because I stayed out late, but it's because my girlfriend had she had to work like early in the morning, and I was at her place. So that means I have to wake my ass up and then go home. And I park in a parking garage usually, and I didn't feel like walking there and getting like killed on the way to my apartment. So I just parked right outside my apartment. It was empty. And long story short, I just kind of forgot about it. And then and I just started working too. I just started practicing after that and editing. And then after that, by the time 9 a.m. rolls around, I've been working, feeling good. And then I hear the parade outside, and I'm like, oh, God, like my car, like it's gone. And I go out there, and sure enough, my car is just gone. And like, who do you even ask? Like, who towed my car? I have no idea. They don't leave like a slip outside of the parking spot, like towed by this company. They don't even do that. So I had to call like the police department of like the city that I'm in, and they didn't even give me information. They gave me like 3 different towing services that they use. So I was just like, okay, great. And I eventually found it. And oh my God, like there are a few things that I want to talk about in this episode of this epic podcast that I'm doing while I'm driving. And this sort of goes hand in hand. I'm going to talk a lot about money today, and what that means for, or I don't know, just money, like not money like my actual money, but I'm going to talk about YouTube money. Because that's kind of interesting, drive engagement and all that. Everybody's trying to find out about YouTube money, right? Well, I spent the last 15 months building a YouTube channel, and I can tell you how much money it makes. But anyways, I found the towing company. And by the way, I just walked into this place, and it seemed kind of shady. And there was just this guy, and he directed me, and he was kind of snarky about it too. He knew, he has my car, he has all the power, and he just put this card reader in front of me, and it was $175, which is just what a horrible thing to just have to pay that for nothing. for parking my goddamn car in a city parking space. Like, just as normal. Like, I'm allowed to do that. But I just did it at the wrong time because my city just chooses to have fucking festivals all the time. And, yeah, $175. And then my dumbass pulls my card out. I haven't even looked at my car yet. I don't even know if this is the right place because I called him. And I said, like, hey, did you tow my car? And he was like, I don't know, what car do you have? And I was like, I have this car. And, like, all I gave was, like, a model and, like, color. And he was like, oh, yeah, come on down. Just, like, no verification whatsoever. And I'm paying for this car before he, like, looks at anything. Oh, you know what? I think he did check my ID, but it still seemed, like, very minimal. Where it's just, like, do you even know if, like, could I just be anybody giving you this ID? And, like... Or, like, I don't have any verification that you even have my car. Like, I guess you can verify that it's me, but, like, I don't know. So, I mean, yeah. So I scan, I pay $175, and then he just leaves the room and kind of leaves me there for, like, 5 minutes. And I'm like, is he going to come back? Like, did I just get, like, scammed and I just have to walk myself out? Like, do I, like, call the police now or something? Like, what do I do? But no, he comes out. It wasn't a scam. Like, I just get paranoid about that sometimes. Like, especially in that situation. God, like, not having your car is such a horrible situation to be in. Like, I'm just stuck there. Yeah, and he started walking me through, and we had to get through all these, like, junk cars, and I eventually found mine, and he guided me out through all the gates and stuff. There were a lot of cars there. And it really makes you wonder, like, how do you even get into a business like that? Because I sort of get, like, unethical business practices. Like, if you see some of the reaction videos that I make, like, some people call me grifting for doing that because I'm, like, profiting off of other people's success, like Jacob Collier or Marson or whatever. I don't care. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just being a critic. That's, like, I guess all critics are, like, grifters, too. Because their whole career is just criticizing or critiquing other people, which I don't even do that. I also make art too, like hey, I released a recording of my fugue, you know, that's some art. Go fuck yourself. So, you know, I do a lot of stuff, but I also I like I mean, part of my idea for making this channel in the first place was just to sort of show videos that I thought were funny or interesting, because as a guitarist, like, you come across a lot of stuff. And, you know, like, I would like to be able to show it and, like, have you experience it as I experience it with, like, my thoughts that I had about it. So, you know, you can call it whatever. I don't care. Which, speaking of that, yeah. So, yeah, I feel like I'm telling this story horribly. But I pay $175, and that's a blow. Like, that's annoying, and that's a blow for a specific reason, too. Because let's talk a little bit about YouTube money. I've been doing this channel for like 15 months. And in those 15 months, I've gained like over 3,000 subscribers, which is crazy. And I say this YouTube channel, not this one. This one I think has like 2 subscribers or something like that. I'm just kidding. It's like 25 by now probably. But I have a main channel that has a lot more. And I did that for free for a long time, which it's weird to think back on. Because I, like, the first 40 episodes or so, like, just got no, like, traction or clicks whatsoever. Like, it was pretty, it's amazing that I did it for so long without any real encouragement to keep doing it. Like, I must really love it. Because it seems pretty crazy that I did that. Like, yeah, I don't know. But, where was I going with that? But yeah, then I got some traction after like 40 episodes, and then, you know, just sort of picked up from there. But my point is, for most of the time that I've been doing it, I haven't been getting paid at all, which is, you know, like, I shouldn't be getting paid. It was a crappy show, and it's better now, and I get paid like about what it's worth. Just to give you an idea, I make like $200 a month off of this show. That's like what this month will be. That's like sort of where it's at. I don't know if it'll stay at 200. It might go down to like 150 next month. It might go up to 250 next month. It could up. Yeah, who knows where it could go? Like up or down. But like $200 a month is where it's at right now. So basically, like, just covered the car getting towed, which sucks because this is the first month I'm getting paid that much. Because, like, I remember the first month I got paid, I think I made like $30 or something, which you don't even get the payout from YouTube until you cross $100. So it took like 3 months of that to actually get a payout. And it wasn't until I started making the actual reaction videos, like, as their own video and not part of a practice log, that I started actually making more money. Like, it got into like the 100, and now it's at 200 now from doing that. Because I guess they're a little bit easier to watch. It's not like a practice log, which is a pretty obscure thing. It's now a reaction video, which is a little less obscure. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that. Because why not? Yeah. And where was I going with that? So yeah, like, it makes you wonder, right? Because you see these YouTube channels that get like a shit ton of views. Like, let's say something crazy, like, I don't know, like 100,000 views a day. And just to give you an idea, like this month, excluding YouTube Shorts, I got like 55,000 views, and I made $200. Okay, so we can do the math on that. That's $400 per 100,000 views. That's about what I would make with my ad revenue. And then further extrapolated, 100,000 views. Wait, what did I say? $200 for 50,000 views. So like 100,000 views would be like $400. That's a lot of money. That's like a really good amount of money. Especially for a day, like those YouTube channels that get like 100,000 views in a day, especially for one guy. Like, of course, for the videos that are like a production where there's like multiple employees and stuff, that suddenly becomes a lot less. But for me, like it's all just a production, or just like a one-man show, where I'm kind of working like a normal amount of working hours, and I can put this out. But I'm talking about these views. I'm talking about making double my monthly views every single day. Which, if I could do that, which would be absolutely insane, I'd have to grow 60 times my current size right now. Which would put me at like 180,000 subscribers, making 100,000 views a day. I would be a huge YouTuber at that point. I would be a complete monster. I'd have no friends because I'd be such an asshole. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be an asshole, but that would be a huge success. That would be a gigantic success if I got to that level. I assumed that I would expect to make $400 a day in ad revenue, which is like, that's a lot of money. Yeah, just like every single day, $400. Which there are a few ways that you can achieve that. Like, obviously 100,000 views per video every day would be a lot, but it could also be like 50,000 views per video, and then you have a catalog of a few thousand videos that get like a couple views each, and that makes up for like 10 or 20,000 views per day, like if you have a lot of them and if people still watch them. So there are ways to kind of build it up. Like, it's not just like every video needs to perform at that level. And then of course, like, it also just needs to be an average of 100,000. Like, one video could get 500,000, one video could get 50,000, and that would still be a higher average than 100,000 per day. Like, you know, that was kind of extreme. But you know, it's just an average. But yeah, that's probably how much you need to like make an actual living as a singular person on YouTube. Like 100,000 views a day, or even less. Like, it depends on how much you can live on. Like, I personally could live on $200 a day. I could probably, or actually I could definitely live on $100 a day, and I actually live on less than that right now. But I do also have like a large savings. If I wanted to like break even and not worry about like, and be able to save and stuff, I would need to make $200 a day, like $1,400 a week, and that way I would be able to save like a good portion of that, like 40% of it or whatever. So that would be what I need. So it's kind of interesting reaching that place on YouTube where it's like, I am at a place now where I remember YouTube was like a complete like fantasy. Like, I would never reach any percentage of like where I need to be to actually make a living on it. But I'm actually at a place right now where I can see, like, in a month, if I could make what I do in a month every single day, that's a living. And I literally would not need to do anything else. And what that means is I also teach guitar, and that's how I make my living now. I could just do whatever I make in a month. I could make that, like half of that every day, you know, and then that would cover like half of my work, like just covered by YouTube. And all I need to do from there is just grow 15x versus like the 30x or the 60x if I want to live super comfortable that I mentioned. I would only need to grow 15x, which all of a sudden 15x, that's kind of doable. I mean, I've, you know, like over years and years, I could probably grow 15 times. That's, what's that, 45,000 subscribers? I mean, how many channels do you know that make like reaction videos with like 45, 50,000 subscribers? I feel like it's not that crazy. There's a lot of people on this planet. That's something that I've learned, which I'm saying, I didn't know that there were a lot of people, but I learned that in my 20s. No, there are a lot of people, and if you put yourself out there for long enough, people will start kind of noticing, and it like, I don't know, just put yourself out there, and stuff will start happening. Just be persistent, that's what I've learned. But yeah, no, so that's like the number that I have in my head, which, not that I'm like fully focused on like just growth, because like my goals right now are to become a better guitarist, obviously, and also to start my master's degree and stuff. But if during my master's degree I could grow my channel to 15x, which I know sounds crazy, but I mean, just one big like banger video, like the Jacob Collier video, my channel grew 15% from that one video. So I mean, you do the math on that. Like if I can do that every single month or something, like 15% is huge. Like that, it takes like, I would double every 6 months or something like that if I grew 15% every month, or I think every 5 months. Yeah, it would be like pretty quick if I could make that happen every month, which every month I make 20 videos. So it's a 1 out of 20 chance for that. And I know that you can look at like, that's the first, like the Jacob Collier video is the first video I've had out of 400 that actually did that. I know, but the first like 350 videos, I wasn't really trying to make that happen. So I bet if I started trying to make that happen, it would happen a lot more frequently. Yeah. So I mean, every 6 months I would double. How many doublings would it take to grow 15x? That would be, well, one doubling, that would put me at 6,000. Another doubling, 12, another doubling, 24. It would need 4 doublings. So that would take 2 years if I'm able to make that happen every month, which that might be ambitious. This is just, I'm just trying to do the math in my head. I'm just making a map to my goals. So I would need to double 4 times in order to reach 15x growth, which all of a sudden, just doubling 4 times, I mean, that can happen. I'm only at 3,000 subs, you know? And I got to 3,000 just doing the same shit that I'm going to start doing now. So, like, how many times have I doubled, you know, already? Like, I've doubled my channel before. It's not that hard. Like, I remember being at 1,500 subs. I've doubled from there. I remember being at 700 subs. I doubled from there. And so on and so on. And you know what's funny? They always kind of take the same amount of time. That's a little interesting tidbit for you. Like, literally going from 100 or 1,500 subs to 3,000 subs, it took a similar amount of time as going from 700 to 1,500. I think it actually took less time going from 1,500 to 3,000. So yeah, no, 4 more doublings, and then that, like, just in ad revenue, at least the ad revenue that I'm making now, unless something changes, that would be a career right there. That'd be about $100 a day on top of teaching. Yeah, that's good. Which I'm saying all this out loud. Hopefully, I mean, if you're listening to this, you're just sort of getting an insight into how much money there actually is on YouTube to be made. The amount of work it takes to actually get what I'm talking about is insane. Because I've literally worked like over a year getting paid basically nothing. Okay? Like, that's crazy. Like, any job application that starts off like that is a scam. It's a complete joke. The only reason why this works for me is because I actually love making YouTube videos. Like, I'm one of those people, and I kind of always knew that I would be. I'm one of those people that really likes making videos. I just love the, like, art of just making the video and, like, trying to make a better video than last time. And I love, especially when I'm making, like, a reaction video and I just drop some, like, banger jokes in it that I think are really funny. That, like, makes me feel really good. I just love the whole process. And then, on top of it, like, wanting to show, like, my best playing possible. Like, I make these videos on stuff that I'm passionate about. Like, they're all basically about music. And, like, guitar and me getting better at guitar. So it just works well for me to do this. Like, any other job that's, like, work a year, and maybe if you work it for 3 years, we'll give you $100 a day, which is the same amount of money I was making when I was working construction when I was in college. Which you could just go ahead and start doing that now. Yeah, that'd be a big ask. But it's kind of cool because the upside is also, like, basically limitless. Like, it's really just whatever I put my mind to. Like, and if I'm willing to, like, adapt the videos to make them more sensational and wide-reaching, which is a balancing act because I don't want to do that too much. I think the reaction videos are a good mix because they feel very much like something that I'm passionate about. Like, when I make them, like, you know, it's like I'm basically just saying the stuff that I think when I watch the videos anyways. So it's fun to be able to, like, express my ideas and opinions. So I feel like that's not compromising, like, my initial vision for this thing. And it's just something that's more palatable and, like, easier to listen to. So, you know. But yeah, that's the number. You know, 50,000 views, $200. That's about where we're at right now. That's, you know, which, I mean, 50,000 views is pretty crazy, isn't it? And the math is weird on that, too, because I think my channel in total has had, like, 350,000 views. But I don't know if I've made, or I guess, yeah, no, I feel like these 50,000 views have been, like, worth more. Like, is that a thing? Like, the longer you're on YouTube and the longer you're making ad revenue, they give you, like, more money. Does anybody know that? Yeah, that's how it seems. But anyways, I mean, it doesn't matter. That's where it's at now. Yeah, man. So, yeah, 15x is doable, especially over a few years during a master's degree. 15x, that's the number. Is there anything else to say on that? Do you guys have a YouTube channel? You should post what you make on YouTube. I'm not shy of saying that stuff, because, you know, it's not like it's a crazy amount of money anyways, and I feel like that's something that I always wanted to know, like, before I started a YouTube channel, like, how, because you always hear people, like PewDiePie was the big one when I was a kid. Like, there are always these, like, articles, like, he makes $1 million, like, pounds a month or whatever, €1 million, whatever currency it was. What does Sweden have? Is it pounds? I don't know. But it's like, does he? Like, that seems insane. Which I guess, I don't know. Let's actually do the math on that. And I'm driving. I don't have a calculator. So for me, 50,000 views gets me $200. So let's see. 100,000 views would be 400. 1 million views would be 4,000. And he got, like, at least 1 million views a day. Basically, every video is, like, over 1 million. Like, maybe 2 or 3 million. Whoa, there are police reported ahead. I better slow down. I'm going, like, 90 right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not speeding. But hold on. Let me make sure I'm going the right way. And also, oh yeah, I'm going 72. Get out of here. All right. Yeah, so that'd be 4,000 per million views. And, like, he would make between, like, 1 and 3 million views a day, like, when I was watching him. Or, I mean, I didn't really, or I watched him a little bit. I didn't watch him that much. I remember, this is, like, middle and high school that we're talking about. Yeah, so that would be 4 to, like, we'll call it an average of, like, $8,000 every single day. What's 8 times, is that 240,000 a month? Okay, that's only $250,000 a month. That's nothing, man. That's not anything. I'm sure he got sponsorships too, though. Oh man, I wonder how much sponsorships are worth. I bet it's I wonder what it is. Because for YouTube ads, like that's what you're making as the person advertising the stuff, and you don't really have control over the ads. So I wonder how much a sponsor will pay for every single view to see their ad. Because in that case, sponsors are paying, but it's not guaranteed that each viewer will even see that ad. So it must be less, right? Huh. I wonder how much that accounts for. Maybe it accounts for like an equivalent amount, or maybe more. So like $500,000 a month. That's getting a little bit better now. That's a lot of money. I'm also just kidding. $250,000 a month is like absurd. That's obviously absurd. I make like $250 a month right now. $250. I make like $35 a week as we speak. Basically. Sometimes it feels that way. Yeah, I don't know. Having a YouTube channel is very interesting. I definitely recommend it. There's a lot of fun to be had, especially daydreaming about the upside. I'm sure it'll never come. Feel free to post a comment and say that it'll never come, because I'm sure it won't. But, you know, we're going to try. And I've learned in my life that trying a lot of the time is, like, enough. Like, because a lot of people just don't try. And if you're just trying, you know, like, sometimes shit just works out. I've always been a trier. I always try. And it's crazy to look back and just see like how often stuff just kind of works if you just try hard enough and believe it. I don't know why. Maybe people just feel bad for you for trying so much, and everyone just throws you a bone collectively, but I don't know. I don't know why. Anyways, how's your day doing? I mean, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to ramble while I drive. This could be a short one. Maybe I'll talk a bit about the last episode that you just watched. Did you guys watch that? The one where I just improvised guitar for 15 minutes? Sorry about that. And I named it like something super pretentious, like trying to improvise a symphony or something ridiculous. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like, I don't know. I used to write guitar pieces. Like I remember I wrote some for my last ex a while ago. Ooh, I almost got hit by a truck. Oh my god. Okay, we're good. I called them sketches though. Just because they were like sort of like preludes, but like short. They're just little like sketches, or like I think other words for them might be like impromptus, or just something like just a small little piece, like a standalone piece. And that's usually how I write things. But I kind of like the idea of like calling my little guitar works just symphonies. just call it like the grandest thing and just have it just be like a little guitar tune. I don't know. But also a lot of times when I'm improvising on guitar, I'm thinking about like how a symphony would play some of the stuff that I'm playing. And I'm sort of imagining that. So it also kind of makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, I might start posting those every once in a while whenever I feel inspired to do so. But yeah, those are all improvised. And my method for doing those, I try to think about a symphony that I like, or sometimes I think about a concerto rather than a symphony, because I find the guitar just kind of works for that sort of thing, because it's easy to just have single lines and sort of imagine what the other notes would be, or like how the accompaniment would be, but I'm just kind of playing the solo part, and then I'll play the accompaniment and maybe imagine more like what the solo part would be. But yeah, no, I was thinking of, at least for some of it, like Rachmaninoff, Piano Concerto 2. So that's kind of a good exercise. Like, just pick your favorite concerto and just sort of conceptualize each section, and then try to improvise something that, like, just reminds you of that section, and just go through. So, like, make your first theme, like, try to copy the mood of it, and then move on to the next theme, like maybe it goes to the major or something. and then like try to copy the mood. And like obviously it's going to be like complete shit compared to the symphony you're like copying. That's not the point. It's not the point to make something actually good. All the good music has already been written. Remember that. Like especially when we're talking about symphonies and stuff, you're not going to write a symphony or concerto that's better than Rachmaninoff for a lot of reasons. First off, if you mail me your concerto right now, it's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You think you can just write a good concerto that's just going to go down in history and be a part of the classical music canon? No, fuck you. That ain't happening. Like, we're not in that time. Like, it's not going to happen for us. All the music's been written. It's just like anybody who writes, like, Bach style, like, whatever. Like, if you write, like, your own suite in the style of Bach, like, it's just, like, nobody's ever going to play it and not just play Bach instead. Like, you can, of course, but I don't know. There's a certain legitimacy attached to the, like, how old Bach is, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but it is how it is. Like, all the symphonies are kind of written. All the concertos are kind of written. And you can write new ones, but they're not going to be the old ones. And if you are going to write new ones, you should write them in, like, a modern style and write something that's never been written before. And that is how you, like, if you want your symphony to be played, at least, you should write it like that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you showed up with, like, a romantic style symphony or concerto, or like a classical style one, like, people will just, like, laugh at you, just be like, what are you doing? Like, this has already been written. I don't know. That's my experience in, like, music school, at least. That's how I imagine they would act. I could be wrong. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So your goal in improvising something like that is not to write something actually good. It is just a, like, luxury that you get as an improvising guitarist. And if you have a good enough imagination, which I feel that I do, I get to, like, improvise something that also, like, stimulates my brain and has me sort of imagine, like, a romantic era concerto. And I get to actually control where everything goes. And that can be a kind of special thing. And now, I don't think I should, like, write down all the notes and then, like, expand it into, like, an actual, like, copy of or a copy of the style of a romantic era concerto. But, you know, it's just an exercise. And then some of that stuff, you know, especially if I record it, which is what I'm doing, I'm actually releasing it too. I can remember it and then maybe include it in some other guitar piece that I'm working on. Because I do like writing guitar music too. And most of the time when I'm thinking of, like, a symphony. Because that's just how I like to write, or how I like to improvise. Especially as I've gone to classical guitar. I don't know what I thought of before that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I know that it's, like, an old cliche, but I see the guitar as, like, a very tiny little symphony box. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. I know Segovia popularized that. But guitar is sort of like a really quiet, shitty organ. And an organ is like a really shitty, not that quiet impersonation of an actual symphony. And then the symphony is really the, like, that is how music sounds. That's like music of the gods, the grandest form of music. And it's not something that one person can do. Unless you're counting the conductor, which, yeah, the conductor is kind of like you are, like, the greatest instrumentalist as a conductor, but what you give up is true control. Like, you're not actually playing any of the instruments. You're guiding it, but you don't get to, like, feel the strings under your fingers and actually produce the sound yourself. You're sort of relying on other people, and that's the trade-off of playing the grandest instrument, is that you don't actually get to play it, but you get to guide it. But guitar, it's not the grandest, but you get all the control that a conductor would have, and you get to guide the music and actually produce the music yourself. So there's a new level of intimacy attached to it. And same thing with organ too, but you're still, I feel like with keyed instruments, you're not really touching the strings. The intimacy It's like always using a condom. No. This is deep in the podcast. Nobody's hearing this. This is the stuff that I would cut out in actual Sor Hands. It's like always using a condom. You know, you never actually get to feel the strings, the ridges of those wound strings. You don't actually get to feel it. You're using the key, and it's in between. Like you're pushing a key down, and it's activating a hammer, or you're pushing a key and it's activating a valve or something. There's just some separation. But I feel guitar, you're like truly touching it with your flesh and your nail. But also like your flesh too in both hands. You still are touching it. And it's very personal. And I don't know. I feel because of that it's not the grandest instrument, but it is, I think, you can do the most with it as a conductor and the instrumentalist. That's why I like improvising, pretending that I'm a little tiny symphony. I think. I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that gross analogy. But yeah, so, maybe try doing that. Find your favorite concerto or symphony or whatever instrumental piece that uses a symphony orchestra, and just sort of make a note of every single theme and how the themes come back. And it's not going to be perfect. Like, add in your own stuff. Like, don't copy it exactly. Not that you will even be able to, probably. But just use it as inspiration. And that's kind of how I like to do stuff sometimes. It's fun to do that. Also, when I recorded that, I was in bed, and I was watching that Chernobyl documentary that's on HBO Max. It's pretty good. I like it. Man, Chernobyl really fucked up those firemen. Sorry. I don't want to be... Never mind, sorry. So that's another thing I would cut out, too, just me saying weird stuff like that. I found it striking, though, how, peeled their skin was, and how, kind of, grotesque they made those firemen. Did it actually do that? Holy shit. It's a horrible sight. Because they just looked like these, raw, fleshy things that are barely people. They look like monsters from the radiation. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Got any good movie show recommendations that I can play music to? Let me know. Alright, I think it's been enough. I've talked about enough stuff. I'm not answering any questions today. It's because I'm on the road. I can't actually look at the phone. But this is one of those where I just kind of talk to you for a while. Yeah, alright, we'll call it here. I'm not going to advertise anything because it doesn't matter. Watch my main show, and then, you can think about guitar lessons and merch and all that stuff. But here, we don't have any of that. It's just a podcast that nobody watches. So, if you did watch, hope you enjoyed. This is Cameron from the amazing Sor Hands Q&A podcast, and I will be seeing you in the next one.